Hello everyone, I'm Tracy and I'm here with Shane. In today's video, we're going to be discussing all of the unusual fog events that have been going on around the country. And then we're also going to go into an example from the past, from 1950, where they conducted a bacterial experiment on the city of San Francisco using fog. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so before you leave and like, comment, and share so we can let as many people know what's really going on. All right, so thank you, Shane, for putting this really great presentation together. I'll let you get started and share what's been going on all over the country.
All right. So for the last week or more, there's actually been a lot of fog around the country. And these fogs are not necessarily all the same. Some people have experienced what feels like a normal wet fog. Some people have experienced what feels like a dry, very large particulate size of fog. And other people have also reported that there's like some sicknesses coming along with this fog. So I wanted to look into this because I actually have my own personal firsthand experience with this. Last weekend, I had, I think it was Friday night, Saturday morning, there was a fog that rolled in. It was very thick. And then when I woke up Saturday morning, it was still thick, but then it cleared pretty quickly by noontime. However, by the time I woke up, I was already feeling like run down and tired, and I had a headache, and I felt like, muscle aches throughout my body, felt like I was getting sick. Well, then within a few days to a week of that, I actually started to improve, but I did get like a slight case of shingles, you could say. But then a friend of our family actually got a very severe case. It developed on his forehead and around his eyes. And he actually went to the doctor, who also sent him to an eye specialist. And the eye specialist said he has seen 3 other cases of shingles around the eyes just this week. And so we thought that was really strange. He's still recovering. He's not really in very good shape. I think I did a little bit better than he did, probably because I've had chicken pox, but then, I've also had it like more recently too. So maybe that was a factor. I'm not really sure. But other places have been reporting fog. One of the most that we've been hearing about the most is in Florida. And I have a clip from Into Thin Air that goes into that, and I'm going to play it now.
Florida, once again, is just one of the states. I repeat, one of the states with a serious fog issue going on. People are continuing to tell me that they are feeling sick, waking up with all sorts of throat issues. Kids have colds, all very weird things going on, specifically when this fog is present. Now, it's not only just the fog. As you can see in the clip below, we have our quote-unquote water vapor trails that we've been following for days in these exact areas. Every area they've had the fog, we've seen the lines in the sky. So it does not take a rocket scientist to see what's going on here. If you don't think there's something weird going on with our weather, I really have concerns for you. Like, I do. I really have concerns about your well-being if you can't see what's going on around you. And it's not just the United States. A lot of people are so locked into the United States and nothing else around the world that they don't even hear about this stuff. But this is happening on a daily basis. Take a look at the Northeast with everything it's been going through as well. There's some sound waves passing through the sky. At least that's what it looks like to me. You can make your own judgments there. But yet just another hot spot we're expected to get slammed with over the next 2 weeks, reminding us that the little gopher thing saw its shadow, but probably a chemtrail shadow that really got him spooked. Now that I can understand. This is a whole nother story. We shouldn't have to be wondering what's over our heads or what's making us feel a certain way, but unfortunately we have to, and we're kind of left to our own to do it. We don't have much help these days besides some of the whistleblowers out there, but we got to take what we can get and move forward with it.
All right. One thing I had forgot to mention about our personal firsthand story is that not only did a friend of the family get shingles around the eyes, but a family member of his who lives in Arkansas also got shingles around their eyes, and they had also experienced a fog. I will show some more later on about the fog in Arkansas. But as far as Florida goes, a lot of people have reported, fog in Florida, but we have also received word that people are getting sick in Florida as well. This is just one of the many reports of people getting sick with what sounds like fever, chills, stomach cramps, pain, and lethargy, which is exhaustion or fatigue. Now, it's also been reported that there has been a sample of the fog that was tested in Florida. Now, this was originated by someone named Q Warrior 19 on Twitter or X. And this is the person who claims to have actually tested the bacteria. And they actually do have the document from the testing agency. And some of the information has been redacted here, but you can see that in the middle of the document in red, it says serratia was detected. All right. And as far as serratia marcescens goes, it can cause urinary tract infections, bloodstream infections, pneumonia, ocular infections, respiratory tract infections, meningitis, which is in the spine and the head, as well as wound infections and or osteomyelitis. This is not just in Florida, but there's also been reports of this in South Carolina as well at Myrtle Beach. And they said that serratia marcescens, which is highly resistant to antibiotics such as penicillin, cephalosporin, and tetracycline, and others. Now, serratia marcescens has come up in the past before in connection with fog. And that connects all the way back to something called Operation Sea Spray, which took place from September 20th to 27th in 1950. And this was done by Alan Dulles and Dr. Gottlieb. Alan Dulles actually became CIA director shortly after this. And I also have a video on this as well.
He authorized Sidney Gottlieb to spray germs into the fog in San Francisco Harbor. The point was to try to infect 800,000 people in San Francisco with this germ just to see how many would get sick. And they thought that the germ would sit heavily in the fog and would linger in the air longer that way to infect more people. Now remember, nobody knew that this was happening. And I don't mean just nobody in San Francisco. I mean nobody. The CIA director didn't know it was happening. The president didn't know it was happening. This was Alan Dulles and Dr. Sidney Gottlieb. So what happened? They spray this poison into the air, and 11 people got identical urinary tract infections within the next 3 days. Now, we know that these were specific to the germ because these urinary tract infections included bleeding, but with blood that had crystals in it. Doctors were so taken aback by the fact that this wasn't just a urinary tract infection, but these people were discharging crystals from their bodies that they actually got together in doctors' groups and talked about it. That what in the world is this? Is this some kind of a new disease? And then like magic, it just went away. And it went away because it was just a CIA experiment. In 1951, Alan Dulles becomes the director of the CIA, just like he planned to.
All right. So yeah, you see there that Alan Dulles and Sidney Gottlieb did this without the knowledge of even the CIA director at the time. And then shortly after this, he became CIA director. Now, I do want to show the map of the fog here recently. So this is from yesterday. So all of the areas in gray, we're actually experiencing fog, which includes the states of, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and a handful of others. I happen to know that northern Indiana and Michigan were also experiencing fog as well, but I think they are covered here by the snow or ice in the blue as well. All right. So as far as Indiana goes, this is where I'm from. This is back home. And my own mom is actually sick right now, but she's actually sick with more flu-like symptoms, which is what's commonly being reported in association with these fogs is, fatigue, headaches, muscle cramps, stomach aches, things of that nature. But there is also fog that has been reported in Michigan. However, I don't know if there's anyone in Michigan that has claimed to have gotten sick from this. If any of our viewers are in Michigan and they can actually correlate the connection between, fog and sickness, then be sure to let us know. All right. So now, as far as some of these other areas, I did mention Arkansas earlier. And like I said, the friend of the family here has a family member in Arkansas that's experiencing both fog and shingles, and not only shingles, but shingles around the eyes, which is very rare. It's like 1 or 2% of the population actually experiences that. So I wanted to play a couple of clips from Arkansas just to show that, there is fog there.
We do have some weather in the form of fog, and that fog is very dense in some locations.
People are dealing with much of the same for today, and we'll continue to see more of that fog through the remainder of your Wednesday night, overnight, and throughout Thursday morning. We'll still have reduced visibility out there.
All right. So, yeah, as you can see, there's been heavy fog in Arkansas, and I can confirm, at least secondhand, that there is people who are getting sick from the fog, and it's not just like your average everyday sickness. Okay. So there is fog in a couple of other places, and I know Traci has also experienced fog recently in LA. I'm going to show some of that here, covering, downtown LA. However, I believe Traci said it seemed more like a normal fog. You could actually feel the moisture and everything, and so.
Yeah, it was. It started in earlier in the winter. I wish I made note of it, but where I am, it is a little unusual to have fog that is so heavy. It was really heavy fog, it was hard to drive in it. So that in my area is rare, but fog is not. It's not out of the question for this area to have fog, but it was not your typical fog, I would say.
Right.
In LA.
Yeah, and you did mention driving in it, and here's a clip of someone driving through LA, and you can see just how thick the fog is on the road. They did say it smells like chemicals. However, I think Traci will probably back me up on this. The LA just has its own smell, so I wouldn't necessarily draw too much of a conclusion from the fact that the fog in LA was smelly, because LA is usually smelly anyway, right?
Yeah, I didn't notice a particular smell, but then again, there's so much pollution, and I didn't notice a residue. I know some people said it left a like a slimy or sticky residue. I didn't notice it, but I can't say that it wasn't there somewhere else.
Right. I do believe the fog in different areas is probably different types of fog. It appears like the fog in LA, like you said, might actually be water fog. However, there was a video from Texas that showed what was left over in someone's swimming pool after they had a heavy fog. And it almost looked like sea spray or foam or soap suds or something that was in their pool. And that's actually kind of strange. Could indicate the presence of a surfactant of some sort, which we have known surfactants to be present in stratospheric aerosol injection. But then other fogs, like where we were, I didn't go out in the fog, so I didn't actually detect any smell. But the people who were in the fog here, they didn't smell anything either. So we can't really correlate the smell of the fog. However, we definitely have correlation between sickness and a fog, especially shingles. So it's really strange that, there's fog in so many places all at the same time, and that several of these places have reported various types of sickness, whether it be, headaches or fatigue or stomach aches or even shingles. So, yeah, I just think it's really strange.
Yeah, it is. Do we do all of the clips and visuals?
Well, we just have a couple more visuals here to show real quick. I was going to bring this up because I've seen a patent making the rounds for a fog machine. A lot of people are sharing this. And the patent's actually from 1916, and it's an extremely, an outdated, 100-year-old outdated fog machine. But they do have modern versions of these. And this one is from the Coastal Atmospheric Aerosol Research and Engagement, also known as CARE, ironically. They have these fog machines that can actually put out a decent amount of fog just from a very small machine. But we also know that that there are bunker ships and various other types of injection equipment that can create fog and clouds within the atmosphere. So who knows if it's ship-based or if it's airplane-based or what. But there is some sort of aerosol injection going on that is contributing to these fogs, and it also seems to be causing sicknesses.
And they also could be putting it in the jet in aerosol injections too, right? That probably would work as well.
It would work as well. Now, I know that there are airplanes that are specifically set up for stratospheric aerosol injection, and they could put anything in there from chemicals to biologicals. However, the regular commercial traffic also uses a jet fuel form, which contains things like ethylene dibromide and methyl tertiary butyl ethylene, which are immunosuppressants. And so I do believe that probably what's most likely happening with these fogs or aerosol injections is that the presence of immunosuppressants is actually weakening people's immune systems so that an opportunistic bacteria like Serratia could take hold, and or a dormant bacteria could, or a dormant virus could flare up, such
Like
as
varicella.
chickenpox or shingles. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do you think the goal is of these operations, this current one? Like, what do you think they're trying to accomplish?
Well, I think now this is speculation on my part, but I think most likely they are testing the immune responses of the population to an immunosuppressant, and or in combination with an opportunistic pathogen such as Serratia. I don't think they're necessarily spraying shingles everywhere, but I do think that they could be spraying at least immunosuppressants, if not bacteria, to see, how many opportunistic infections will occur. So that way they can kind of gauge like how resistant the population is physically.
Or possibly priming the population for another more infectious agent?
Yes, actually, that's very likely. They could be priming the population with immunosuppressants for a pandemic in the near future. And whether that would be, bird flu or coronavirus or shingles or who knows, any of the other boogeymen they're trying to scare us about. I will say that there are a lot of alternative therapies out there for shingles and chickenpox and so forth. And I would like to mention a few of those. So there's a product called lauricidin, which is the monoglyceride of lauric acid. There is also, most people have heard about L-lysine, which is an amino acid that you can get over the counter. I also highly recommend things like black seed oil, which contains thymoquinone, and it's very good against not only opportunistic viral pathogens, but it also strengthens the immune system against, other pathogens as well.
Speaking of the black seed oil, we actually both use the Alfa Vedic one, and we have a link. It's
Yes.
actually, for the first time, we have an affiliate link. We don't do this very often, but we know Barre, Lando, and we were on his podcast not too long ago, and he sent me a couple of items, and one is the black seed oil. I have taken it from other brands, but according to you, this is the best one. So we'll link that in the description. And we do make a small commission if you use that link to buy the black seed oil. I'm also testing out their digestive enzyme powder. I haven't been on it for that long, but if you guys want to support us, support the channel, use that link for the black seed oil. And then we'll also link the video we did, because we never mentioned the Alfa Vedic podcast. So
True.
we'll link that if you guys want to see us on Alfa Vedic. That was really cool to be on his channel. So that just kind of came up. We haven't actually, no, I have the link. I just have to find it, and we'll put it in the description. So was there anything else that we missed?
No, that's all I have for today.
Okay. Oh, I did want to put out another, I don't know, possible link to the pharmaceutical industry has been dropping in value since RFK is the very likely new secretary of the HHS. And, his views, I think a lot of people are aware of his views, but he is trying to get the government to look into the safety and effectiveness of some of the vaccines that we have out there. So now my more like business perspective went to that first. Like, is this to gain awareness for the vaccine? But I don't know, maybe it's a convenient side effect of what's going on. But yeah, I just wanted to put as much out there. And if you guys do have experience with this fog, and you came down with something, please let us know in the comments so we could get some like on the ground information, and that really helps us. And that's one of the amazing parts of having a platform, is we can get people telling us their reports, because it's unlikely the government is going to do a study on this, at least not for a long time. Right. So, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's going to do it. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you all soon. Bye.